Imagine this. You're sitting in a church filled with music and flowers, the kind of wedding that looks like a scene from a movie. The bride is glowing, the groom is handsome, the guests are whispering about the perfect match. Cameras flash, violins play, and everyone waits for that moment when love is sealed with vows. But just as the bride takes her place at the altar, something happens that no one saw coming. Her knees buckle, her face pales, and she collapses to the ground in front of 200 stunned witnesses. Gasps fill the room. Chairs scrape, but no one moves. Everyone is frozen. Everyone except one woman. Her name was Emily Carter, a nurse who had only come as a guest, seated quietly in the fourth row. While others stood in shock, she rushed forward, kneeling beside the bride. Her voice cut through the chaos, steady, commanding, but kind. "I'm a nurse. Give me space." And in that moment, when everyone else hesitated, she became the anchor in the storm. Friends, if you've ever seen someone step up when it mattered most, you know how unforgettable that moment is. Comment down below. Have you ever witnessed someone's true strength in a crisis? I'd love to hear your story. Emily checked the bride's pulse, loosened the gown around her chest, and signaled for water. She worked quickly, her hands sure, her training kicking in. And slowly, the bride's breathing steadied, her eyelids fluttered, and the color returned to her cheeks. Relief flooded the room like sunlight breaking through clouds. Applause even rose, a strange, emotional wave of gratitude. And through it all, one man was watching her like he'd never seen anyone before. His name was James, the groom's best man. Tall, sharp suit, but in that moment, none of it mattered. None of it. What struck him was not the chaos, not the collapsed bride, not the broken perfection of the ceremony. It was the woman kneeling in quiet strength, her hair falling into her face, her focus unshakable. When Emily finally stood, brushing her hands on her dress, her eyes caught his. Just for a second. But sometimes a second is enough to change everything. Now, let me take you back. Emily wasn't the kind of woman who usually drew the spotlight. She worked long shifts at the hospital, nights that stretched into mornings, saving lives that no one ever thanked her for. Her life was quiet, her world small, scrubs, coffee, and the soft hum of heart monitors. She'd been invited to this wedding almost by accident. An old friend, a distant connection. She had almost said no. But fate has a way of putting us exactly where we're supposed to be. Do you believe in that? Tell me in the comments. Has there ever been a moment in your life where it felt like destiny put you in the right place at the right time? The ceremony paused. Guests shuffled nervously, whispers darting like birds. The bride, now resting, was led away by family. The groom, shaken, followed her. And James? He stayed back, scanning the crowd until his gaze landed again on Emily. Later, when the reception staggered back to life, James found her. She was standing by the edge of the room, sipping water, trying to disappear into the wallpaper. "You were incredible," he said. His voice carried the weight of everything he'd just seen. Emily shook her head. "I just did what anyone would have done." But James leaned closer, eyes steady. "No, everyone else froze. You moved." There was a pause. The kind where something unspoken fills the space between two people. And from that night, something began. They sat at the reception table together, talking quietly while the music played on, as if nothing had happened. James asked about her work, her life. She told him about the endless hours, the heartbreak of losing patience, the quiet victories that no one else ever noticed. He listened, really listened, like no one had in a long time. Emily found herself laughing at his dry humor, surprised at how easy it felt. She hadn't expected this. Not here, not tonight. But sometimes love doesn't arrive in grand gestures. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly, disguised as compassion, disguised as two people finding each other in the middle of chaos. Over the next weeks, James couldn't stop thinking about her. He texted, called, asked to see her. At first, Emily hesitated. She wasn't used to attention, especially not from someone like him, confident, successful, the kind of man who seemed to belong to a different world. But James was persistent in the gentlest way. Coffee after her shift, walks through the park, long talks that stretched until midnight. And slowly, Emily began to believe. One evening, they sat on a bench by the river. The city lights shimmered on the water, and James turned to her. "Do you know the moment I realized I had to know you?" Emily smiled faintly. "At the wedding?" He shook his head. "No. It wasn't just that you saved her. It was how you stayed calm when the world tilted. How you gave without asking for anything. I've been around people chasing money, status, appearances, and then there was you. Real, steady, unshakable." Her heart caught. For so long she had felt invisible. And now, here was someone who saw her. Friends, have you ever had someone truly see you? Your worth, your heart, not just the surface? If you have, drop a in the comments. But love stories aren't without their shadows. Not everyone was pleased. The bride, recovering well, was wary of this growing bond. Family members whispered. Some thought Emily was out of place, that a nurse didn't belong beside a man like James. And Emily felt those doubts seeping in, pulling at her. She'd lie awake at night, wondering if she was setting herself up for heartbreak. James noticed. "Don't shrink," he told her one night. "Don't let anyone make you feel small for the size of your heart." And slowly, she began to believe him. Months passed. Their bond deepened. What had started in crisis had grown into something steady, beautiful. Emily realized that love wasn't about grand entrances or fairy tale perfection. It was about the quiet strength of being seen, held, and valued. Their story became a whisper at first. Guests from the wedding talking about the nurse and the best man. But to them, it was never about the audience. It was about the quiet moments, the laughter in small kitchens, the comfort of knowing that even in the darkest hours, they had found light in each other. And when James finally asked Emily to walk beside him, not as a fleeting guest, not as someone who saved the day once, but as a partner, her answer was simple. Yes. Because sometimes love doesn't arrive when the violins play or the cameras flash. Sometimes it arrives when compassion leads the way. And that, my friends, is the story of the nurse and the groom. Tell me, have you ever seen love begin in the most unexpected place? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you believe in love stories that start with kindness, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another one.